Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Manuel Abilarin, and today I'm going to explain in a simple simple explanation of the Allegory of the Cave by Plato. So, the reason why I'm going to explain this is I could connect this story to the issue that is um in the US, and I will explain it further once I summarize the story of the Allegory of the Cave. So, the Allegory of the Cave by Plato. So, the story, um, the point of view of the story is the prisoner, where he and along his fellow prisoners are locked in a um prison. Not really a prison, but it is a cave which they are chained there, um blocking the actual like view in the what is outside of that cave. So they've been locked there for many years without seeing what is outside that cave. And that is um pretty sad, honestly, that um you cannot see what outside looks like. You cannot um know what what how, you cannot you cannot know how beautiful the outside world is. I could also relate this story to a person who is locked in a house. I think um he he was locked there for 15 years, which is um which made him like this very this it made him, after locking him for 15 years, he became something we cannot recognize anymore. His hair became so long, and with that span, he couldn't um let um his 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 dump. He cannot properly dump anywhere in that cell, and it really made him dirty, and he became very marginalized. And in this story, it also um related to this story. So now that let's go back in the story. So the only thing that they see is the shadow casted by the fire, which is somehow there. I don't know why there's a fire in the cave. Who would put that there? And one more thing that I have inquired in this story is, how is there um like let me explain it first. So there's a fire, right? There's a shadow casted in the fire, which is shown a person, a horse, a dog, and a tree. And now that I explained it, who is the people? Who are the people casting that shadows? Who are the people that, you know, showing, making the shadows exist. Who made these figures? And why do they try to deceive these poor prisoners? And without further ado, let's continue in the story. So, since the prisoners are locked there, somehow one of the prisoners escaped. The one of the prisoners is he got free. His chains got loose, and he managed to get out of the cave. Once he got out of the cave, though, he was astonished on how beautiful the world is. He was, let's say, he found the world magnificent. He couldn't believe that this is actually how the world is, not based on the shadow casted by the fire, by the figures that the shadows made with the fire, with the lights. He finally saw what a person is actually, he finally saw what a horse really looks like. He finally saw what trees looks like. And upon witnessing this magnificent upon witnessing the truly wonderful world, he returns in the cave to let his fellow prisoners, and he returns in the cave to explain what he saw outside the cave. But here's the ending. Once he returned in the cave, his fellow prisoners didn't believe what the person that got out of the cave tells them. So they end up believing the reality that they lived. And what I understand in this story is the longer you are part of a, let's say, place where the beliefs is very different from what is actually the truth, can lead you not questioning what is actually true. You are stuck in your own reality, which is an issue. And so the conclusion is, his fellow prisoners never escaped from that cave. So Plato is really an exceptional when it comes to making stories like this. That's why he is a really historical figure. He is a he really is top notch when it comes to making a story based upon the showcasing the human problems. And this story is really ahead of its time, because this story is with, even if from the current day, Allegory of the Cave really, okay, I always say really, in the Allegory of the Cave continuously is the sad case of our society, where the one side of our the enemy refuses to know what is the cause of their enemy. So let me explain this first. Where the problem why wars, the problem why we always end up in this loop where you are the problem here. And the other person said, you are the problem, not me. And the other person always said, it's your problem. And it creates this cycle where each person has the problem, and therefore the person or the other person is just a problem. Therefore, we should eliminate one so that the problem the problem vanished. So that is not the case, since you both are really okay. Since you both don't know what is the other's case, then you will never fix this problem, because you both don't really know what is their reality. And that's kind of sad for okay, I always say really. Okay. That's a really sad case. And sorry for making this much more in-depth. It's actually not in-depth, since this is just a service level of explaining. So this is my summarizing the story of the Allegory of the Cave by Plato. And hopefully I do more of this kind of videos in the future. And okay,